All right, so I've been kind of wanting to talk about a few things in terms of just gaming in general. So there's a lot more things that I can probably do with this channel in terms of gaming in general, and I will hit those milestones. But for right now, I just feel like when I just sit here and kind of just shoot the shit with certain things, it goes really well. So with that being said, yo, I really like Ubisoft, but to really do something like this. By the way, if you're wondering where you are, my name's Chaos the Gamer. There's no intros or anything like that. I just like to hop right into it. But yeah, what the heck? Like, how can I mean, don't get me wrong, certain things I understand that companies are legally able to do simply because you not only you didn't just sign on terms and conditions, but you also agreed to play their game and you're using their property as well, etc., etc. A lot of places can actually do that. I just don't understand I just don't understand what would be the actual need. Was he earning something from it? So let's just see. 14 how Jesus Christ, that's a great way to start. 1400 hours and one copyright infringement claim later. For the past few years, a YouTuber known as Crowleywood has painstakingly recreated every level of GoldenEye 007 inside of the level editor of Far Cry 5. This week, Ubisoft removed all of those levels from Far Cry 5 due to copyright infringement claim. Kotoku, oh maybe the guy that made the maps was getting sued by the people that made GoldenEye. Let's see. Kotoku first reported on Crowley's efforts earlier this month. Over the course of 3 years and in an endeavor that tallied more than 1,400 hours, Crowleywood recreated every stage from GoldenEye 007, the classic N64 shooter, well, save for the 2 bonus levels. It was an impressive effort, a modernized recreation of a beloved yet tough to find old game. They're not lying. It's really tough to find some classic GoldenEye cartridges. They're not lying. You could find and play these levels yourself by hopping into Far Cry arcade mode and punching in Crawleywood's username. As of this writing, you no longer can. Ubisoft has removed all Far Cry 5, a move that Crawleywood described as a really sad, noting that he probably won't be able to restore them since he's on their radar now. He then follows up to say, I'm really sad, but not because of myself or the work that I put in over the last 3 years, but because of the players who want to play it or bought Far Cry just to play my levels specifically. And yeah, man. So I'm guessing Ubisoft responded over something in regards of in the following the guidelines within the terms of use. That's where things fall into all the time. There were maps created within the Far Cry 5 arcade that have been removed due to copyright infringement claims from a right side SIC holder received by Ubisoft and are currently unavailable. So the people who have maybe some pull on GoldenEye, who maybe owns it, maybe they were the ones that actually did it. And I was hoping so because I don't see why Ubisoft would do something like that. Even if it was something that wasn't making them money, technically it did, because if that guy is helping them to sell games, then that would be well appreciated. But this doesn't seem like something Ubisoft would like do, even though Ubisoft has done some stuff, don't get me wrong. Ubisoft did not immediately respond to follow-up requests asking whether the rights holder mentioned is MGM, which controls the license to the original GoldenEye 007. Okay, so it's like I said, yeah. The rights around GoldenEye 007 have been stuck in quagmire for decades. If you use the word quagmire, that must be really serious. Famously, Rare, the developer of the original game, planned a remake for Xbox 360 that was canceled in 2008. Years later, Xbox boss Phil Spencer chalked up the cancellation to the legal rights issue being challenging. That canned remake resurfaced as a full 4K 60 long play via leak this January, with the playable version making the rounds online shortly after a Kotaku report concluded it was fun. Okay. I don't think that it is highly too necessary to read all of this, even though I mainly do. It just continues up to say that players just want a taste of nostalgia, and MGM has a track record of shattering the plates before they're even delivered to the table. Recall GoldenEye 25, the fan remake of GoldenEye 007. Oh man, you know what? It really burns me when, like, to an extent, I can understand when companies do that, but it really burns me when fan-made things get destroyed. MGM has further neglected to do anything with the license it's sitting on for a game that's older than the Game Boy Color, by the way. At the end of the day, Suiting is the latest fan-made project out of the sky. It comes across as a punitive move. It is the best. In the beginning, I started this project just for me and my best friend because we love the original game so much. But there are many GoldenEye fans out there. All right. So yeah, stuff like this usually occurs with just the one thing of where is it? Bam. So MGM. Not sure who they are. Okay, how about this? Just to make sure, MGM Golden Eye. Oh God. GoldenEye. MGM announced a. Okay, so MGM is a movie company. Okay. So MGM isn't it's not a game company. MGM is the studio that. Yep, and see, here comes the same thing. MGM Studios shoots down GoldenEye 007 fan remake. Now, granted, that's something totally different, which is GoldenEye 25, but it just goes to show that a basic something like this is just so common. And you wish that it wasn't that common, but unfortunately, these things happen just simply because when someone owns the rights to something, they don't want everyone else always just fiddling with their things. And to be honest, as someone who creates stuff as well, I kind of do understand that. Even if it was something that was giving me a lot of attention for any reason necessary, if I make something, I want to preserve it that way specifically. I want to preserve it that way to be the way that I made it specifically. If people like what I make, I understand that, and that's nice. But it's like, okay, how can I say this? It's like when people take a favorite song and they make a spoof or a parody of that song. And if you were an artist working on that song, you kind of sort of wouldn't like that because, like, if that song had a serious meaning, like, let's say, I don't know, This Is America, Donald Glover, something like that. Someone spoofed that song, and it's like, there was a serious reason why I made this. There was no need for you to go behind and do anything else. But granted, it's a very gray area because in my opinion, when someone really does appreciate it, they're not trying to say that what you made was inferior to what they're trying to do. Point blank, people just like putting mods and doing stuff inside of games because if they have the knowledge to do that and they're inspired to do that, they're just going to want to do it. And that's where I think the whole thing just gets a little bit muddy. Like, I can understand companies want to keep their rights to the certain things that they make to themselves, but actually, I'll still be honest with you. Why is a movie company targeting? I mean, I get it, because maybe the movie company isn't making any money off of a fan-made GoldenEye 25 or something like that. But geez, you had to take out the dude's a fan-made level in GoldenEye? Like, come on. Come on, that really hurts me. Like, I wasn't even looking at it and that hurts me. Regardless of which, like I said, they did give this guy some credit. I think this is his YouTube channel. Yeah. And this guy's name is Crawleywood. If you like him, pretty sure you should. You should go subscribe. I may not subscribe just yet because I don't know him that well, but it is just what it is as always. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something else as well. So let's get rid of the GoldenEye stuff. Let's go into something a little bit different. Yeah, I already showed it, so I might as well. I did not know about this. Like, I have to really say, man, I did not know about this at all. I mean, I knew about something involving Tekken Cross Street Fighter, but I didn't know that Harada had such a. I didn't know that Harada was speaking on it recently in terms of what's going on, in terms of its actual development. So, Tekken, currently, from what I understand, Tekken X Street Fighter is dead. Update, maybe not. So, what this means is that as of an update, Harada recently clarified the statements he made concerning Tekken Cross Street Fighter. saying that his intentions were lost in translation despite the English translations coming from his own channel, specifically when the project was described as stopped and or dead by the subtitles. Harada actually said paused and shelved, which is a very much different thing where it's just a basic way of saying that I'm not done with it. It's just sitting on the back burner because, things are really hard right now with COVID and whatnot. Respectively, nuanced language that indicates work on a game may pick back up in the future. We're still hopeful that Tekken X Street Fighter will resume development when the opportunity arises, Harada explained. However, such a title cannot be moved just for the convenience of one company in terms of marketing and branding. And it also affects each other's development resources. For now, we're just waiting for the right opportunity. Yeah, it seems like they want to continue to do what they're trying to do for Tekken 7 because Tekken still has tournaments. Tekken still has a very huge fan base. And to be honest, I'm not going to say you can't do Tekken 8. The next best thing for Harada in this current situation would be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter because if I'm correct, about 5 or so long ago, he announced that he was actually planning on doing a Tekken X Street Fighter. But Harada has officially closed the book on Tekken X Street Fighter. Okay, so this article may just be talking about the previous thing that was stated about this being a completely non-realistic thing. I think some of this is still interesting to read. Okay, the segment was brief, but Harada seemed proud of the work the team had done on getting stretchy Street Fighter Yogi Dawson working in Tekken Engine, as well as the female character models. He also mentioned that the strides his team made in Tekken X Street Fighter development can be seen in Tekken 7's version of Street Fighter's Akuma. Yes, dude, Akuma in Tekken 7 looks amazing. Like, I know dude, you put Street Fighter characters in Tekken, that'll get me into Street Fighter. I'm telling you right now, because currently I'm not a fan of Street Fighter. It's just me. But, confirming a common theory among fans that the demonic fighter's appearance as a guest character was the result of work being done in the crossover. Pretty much, Kotoku has contacted Tekken publisher Bandai Namco for more information. Tekken X Street Fighter was announced in 2010 alongside Capcom's Street Fighter X Tekken in 2010. Yeah, see, this has been a long time. Which eventually launched on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2012, where they later transposed Tekken characters into a Street Fighter-like gameplay environment. Tekken X Street Fighter would have done the opposite by giving Street Fighter characters Tekken's freedom of 3D movement and spacing. After its reveal, however, Tekken X Street Fighter lingers in development hell with only a few bits of concept art and occasional vague updates on its progress. Whenever someone had a chance to pick Harada's brain about the project, Bandai Namco released several Tekken games in 11 years since, including 2 2-on-2 fighters, Tekken Tag Tournament, the free-to-play Tekken Revolution, and Tekken 7, which continues to be a popular title in both official grassroots fighting game competitions. Yes, it really does. And Harada basically says that he wishes that he would have shown the concept art of all the projects that he's done. But for right here, when it says, but the project died, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean the project died, but the project was ceased or halted, basically is what he meant. So yeah, man, for this being, I gotta tell you, Tekken Cross Street Fighter, oh man, I'm actually not even sure what to say other than, I don't want to say it's a long time coming, but how can I say this? I don't know how long I don't know how long Tekken 7 has been out. It hasn't been long as Grand Theft Auto 5, right? So Tekken has come out on, if I'm correct, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I don't think Tekken 7, no, Tekken Tag was on PlayStation 3, etc. But yeah, I don't want to say it was a long time coming, but in terms of Akuma's design in Tekken 7, I knew that it was a long time coming. I knew that it was just such a good way to like pause fans for a brief moment until this thing becomes a reality. But hey, obviously Tekken and Street Fighter is not going to happen for a very long time. And I mean, I wouldn't even say if Tekken and Street Fighter came out around 2030 or anywhere below that, then yes. in the next 2 years. I don't see it coming around 2025. I see announcement of this game's progress somewhat in maybe like 2024 leading up to like 2025 days, you know. But regardless of which, still very good to hear. And finally, another piece of news. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really liking Kotaku. So far, Kotaku has been really good on getting their reports done and getting their information right. So finally, we go to Games Radar, and Games Radar has a little bit of a rumor for Ghost of Tsushima. So it's been rumored that there's going to be a mini sequel for Ghost of Tsushima called Ghost of Ikishima. I should have practiced that before I said it. Rumored to be for PS5. Now, if it is a real thing, it may be announced at the next state of play. Not yet. Not trying to doubt Austin Wood here, but I don't see the next state of play as a way for them to announce a new thing for Ghost of Tsushima. Not yet, not yet, because let's be real, man. Everyone is still on Elden Ring. Everyone's still hyped up on Elden Ring and anything else that any other game can possibly show, right? So between like Elden Ring and I think also there's like a new Final Fantasy game coming out, stuff like that, right? Uh I feel like Sony would hold off on information dealing to this, and they would just continue to keep Ghost of Tsushima as the very good game that it is. But regardless of which, a new rumor claims that Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch Productions is preparing a small titled sequel called Ghost of Ikishima. This is coming from a Twitter user, xBaxera. I never trust Twitter information at all. But co-founder Schnipsel Nick, who's accurately leaked a few projects in the past. Over a few series of tweets and replies, Nick claimed that the Ghost of Ikishima is an expand-alone type of game, roughly the size of Spider-Man Miles Morales, aiming for a 2021 release. That does make sense, honestly, if you're gonna make it that size and make it be a pre-sequel, presumably on PS5 and likely also PS4, given Sony's redouble plans for cross-plan. Jesus Christ, you cannot talk today. Given Sony's plans for cross-generation, right? Altogether, this was a wild and unsupported claim, and it should be treated as such. However, a game of this description would make sense for a few reasons. Honestly, this is very reasonable because, firstly, it is plausible that Sony and Sucker Punch would push out a smaller game buried the Ghost of Tsushima name to beef up the PS5's library in its first year. Because the PS5 desperately needs games, dude. Desperately. Why would you, man? Sony needs to work on making more titles for PS5. Crossplay is fine, but like, come on, man. Me playing my favorite game at like 60 FPS or something like that is not as important as me playing a brand new game on a new console. But, I digress. I can play all my old games on PC. So, just saying. This did not mean to turn into a rant. Sorry. The rumored Ghost of Ikishima would be, in theory, introduced the IPO to the PS5, and assuming its cross-gen release, given the game's large PS4 audience, something also to bites. It would also tie the PS5 over while it waits on sequels to other PS4 hitters like Ragnarok, which was recently delayed to 2022. And yeah. So this, oh my god, Ghost of Tsushima has the sickest designs, dude, I swear. So the possibility of Ghost of Tsushima getting an actual sequel, like a possible mini sequel, I want to say it's very likely. In my opinion, it's very likely. The possibility of them showing it off soon-ish, somewhat unlikely, because let's think about it. I was going to say Cyberpunk. Ghost of Tsushima and, Sucker Punch made Ghost of Tsushima, and it's only been like a year. Ghost of Tsushima came out, if I'm remembering, November 7th, if I'm right. Ghost of Tsushima, I think it was November 7th. Initially, it was not July. It was not July. I don't care what Google says. It was not July. Trust me. It was not in July. I don't care what Google says. Ghost of Tsushima release date? What? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's not. Okay, Cyberpunk, it released. Yo. Okay, forget Google. I'm pretty sure it was like in November because it got pushed back just a little bit, like once or so. I could be wrong. Regardless of which, though, for Ghost of Tsushima to get something like this, it does make sense because, again, these are the facts. PS5 does not have a good library. It does not have a huge library. Correction. It does not have a huge library. Also, with games like, with people making games specifically to tailor to the PS5, you do have games like Ratchet and Clank, which look amazing. You do have games like Demon Souls, which also look amazing and really put the PS5 to its glory. But for something like this, it would also be something for the PS5 to also be able to pursue. Because Ghost of Tsushima was optimized to be on PS4 and just ran as smoothly as it would on a PS5. If that makes sense, sorry. Regardless of which, man, pretty good this week. Pretty good stuff this week. I'm not too much for rumors and such unless they seem like very plausible rumors. But regardless of which, I am still looking forward to anything in regards of Ghost of Tsushima, as well as anything in regards to what were we talking about before? Jesus. Anything in regards to, well, actually Halo. There's not much going on in Halo front, but I'm probably gonna see about some Halo news next week. I think some better Halo news will happen next week. So yeah, hopefully things turn out a lot better, and hopefully this year's Game Awards will be amazing. Last year's Game Awards were okay. Hopefully this year's Game Awards will actually make sense, man. Because there is no way that this game here, I'm not trying to ride anyone who likes this game, that there's no way that this game would have made Game of the Year compared to Ghost of Tsushima and Doom Eternal. There's no way that The Last of Us would have made it. But regardless of which, like I said, didn't mean to rant. As always, my name is Chaos the Gamer. And yeah, GG's. I'll see you guys around. Dude, they really... it sucks being a fan and just trying to have fun making shit. It really does. You just can't be a fan and just love your stuff, you know? Like, it's just...